This video is sponsored by RM Risk Management. Stansfield returning and scoring and also blowing a kiss to his dad, Stan, which obviously, if you don't know already, his dad, Adam Stansfield, passed away a few years ago, and he played for Exeter back in the day, wore the number 9 shirt. Jay even went back to Exeter following everything that happened as well, and they gave him back that number 9 shirt after they'd retired it, which was really nice. I'd seen that before the start of the game, they had a huge, big flag out with Stansfield and number 9 on and everything. He was a proper big cult hero for them back in the day. So that was lovely to see. But little thoughts on that, Sam, just and everything, and perhaps a little bit on Jay last night in his performance.
Yeah, really nice to see, wasn't it? I've done a bit of reading before we record this tonight about the whole story of Adam Stansfield and what he did for Exeter, and obviously the impact that he's had since with the Adam Stansfield Foundation raising money to raise awareness for the disease really that Adam Stansfield had. And it's just a really sad story. And like Jay Stansfield being a local lad as well, he grew up in Tiverton, which is 12 miles away from the Exeter ground. So for him, it would have been a really momentous occasion, win, lose or draw, to return back to the ground that cheered on his dad so much. And yeah, it was a really touching moment, wasn't it, when he scored the penalty and he sort of blew a kiss towards the stand that's dedicated in his dad's name. And Stansfield as a whole last night done pretty well, didn't he? I mean, he was one of those players against Shrewsbury that did suffer from maybe a bit of lack of service, the kind of forward three that with Stansfield not making the right decisions. But I think Stansfield in this game, he epitomised what he's so good at with his pressing ability and really putting the Exeter players under pressure. And I suppose he didn't really have it all his own way, because I think the difference we're seeing in the Championship compared to League One is obviously in the Championship we had less of the ball and Stansfield better running towards goal, isn't he? Whereas now he's having to play with his back towards goal. So his play style's having to change based on the opposition we're facing, because a lot of them, sit very deep. As Jamie said, every week playing these teams that play, like 9 men behind the ball, whatever. And it is a bit of a conundrum to sort out. But I feel like once we went 1-0 up, we were in complete control of the game and then dispatched it with Stansfield penalty.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that we were massively in control all game. I wasn't really particularly impressed with Exeter. I expected a little bit more from them, particularly with the crowd that they had. I'd noticed in the crowd behind the goal, and the stand behind the goal, that there was loads of younger people. I don't know whether they had something going on that night for that, or in particular, it might have been
a lot of students, I imagine.
Yeah, it might have been something to do maybe with the Stansfield Foundation. I might be wrong with that, but I don't know. Just assuming, really. But yeah, happy with Jay last night. I thought that he pressed really well from the front, as you said, and also really comfortable with the penalty and everything. 2 really good penalties in both games. Nothing really to worry about. I definitely think he's our penalty taker from now on. Is that 3 from the spot he scored now? So it's Bolton, Shrewsbury, and last night against Exeter, which is much better return, really, because we have been a little bit shaky from the spot in the last few seasons. But it's good to see that we have got a real good, strong penalty taker now in that way. I agree with the fact that we didn't have as much of the ball last season. So Jay was a much better counter-attacking striker, and I said this to Jamie when we were watching the Shrewsbury game, that I thought that a better way to have started the second half would be to drop off a little bit and let them have the ball and try and break on them a little bit, because Jay would have been really useful in that way. I feel like we could have got some more whips down the sides and real pace with Anderson and not with Anderson, sorry, with the fullbacks going forward with Laird and everybody. So Jay would be a bit more of a better option. And also Alfie May's a quick player, he did put on a bit of a run towards in the second half. I think he flicked the ball around one of the players and got took out. So I think had he gotten just that little bit extra, he'd have been straight through clean on goal. And I reckon that would have been real difficult to try and get a hold of him. And yeah, I was just really pleased with the fact that we didn't look too shaky last night. It was good to know that Jay was up and firing again, and it kind of felt like written in the stars, didn't it, that he would come back into.
Well, he has a bit of a knack, doesn't he, this season, of scoring against his former clubs, whether it be scoring against us for Fulham and then against the under-21s and then against Exeter. So if you're facing a former club of Stansfield, he's most likely going to score.